The magic is in the unknown. It's in the letting go. It's in life leading you. So in order to let go of control, it is about connecting to the deeper place within you and finding safety and security there. Welcome to the Miracle Frequency Podcast. Welcome back. I'm Susan Francis, host of the Miracle Frequency. Let's talk about control. Being a control freak, wanting to control everything. I know this well, so I can really talk on the topic because for most of my life, and still sometimes, I can want to control. It's certainly most of my life I've been someone who wants control, who tries to control things, right? And a lot of people do. So where does this come from? Where does this come from and why is it such a big problem? So here's the thing. When we are trying to control, it is ultimately led by fear, right? It's ultimately led by fear. It's not feeling okay to allow life to unfold, right? It's not feeling okay to allow life to unfold. So that can mean that there's a fear of uncertainty, a fear of the unknown, right? A fear of change. And so you try and control how things are going to unfold because you fear the unknown, you fear uncertainty, right? So that's one reason you might try and control things. Being overly attached to outcomes means that you're trying to control how things unfold. Perhaps it stems from perfectionism, wanting to, not feeling worthy or enough, and so trying to control outcomes to always be perfect. But ultimately, needing to control shows a lack of trust in the deepest part of you, in source, in universe, in your higher self, in life. Needing to control is your ego or your personal mind trying to keep you safe, trying to keep you secure, trying to give you certainty. Only really it's doing quite the opposite. It's doing quite the opposite because when you are clinging, when you are trying to control, you're ultimately resisting what is, right? You're ultimately resisting what is. It's the mind, I talked about this a little bit in the last episode. It's your mind trying to determine how things are going to go, wanting things to go a certain way because it believes it knows best. But ultimately, this is cutting off the flow of life. This is cutting off the flow of life. It's cutting off your divinity. It's cutting off your connection to source. It is only in letting go of control that the magic can unfold, that you can truly be led and the most abundance, joy, fulfillment can unfold for you. Your mind only knows the past. It only knows the past. And so if it's trying to control the future, it's doing that based on everything it's learned from the past. So if it's trying to keep you safe and secure, in whatever area of your life that is, it's because it's learnt things, like I'm doing little air quotes here, it's learnt things from the past. And so now it believes that it has to implement these things, keep these things the same or a certain way in order to feel safe and secure, right? And what that shows is that there's not a safety, a security within. It's needing to find safety and security in things being a certain way. Now, I used to do this a lot, even especially in social situations. So in my late 20s, I used to be sort of a social organizer. I didn't actually have one group of friends. I had all these individual friends and I would bring them together for dinners, for weekends away. I'd coordinate, organize these weekends away, these dinners. And that gave me a great sense of control because I, for a lot of my life, have been quite shy, afraid of social situations, right? And the reason being is that when I was younger, when I grew up, I was very, very tall, right? I still am tall. But at school, I was, very, very tall compared to everyone else. Like I felt like I was a foot taller than everyone else in my year. And so I felt like a freak, right? I stood out. I felt like a freak. I never felt like I fit in. And so I never felt like, and I got teased for being tall. And so I never felt like growing up, it was okay to just be me, right? I never felt like it was okay to just be me. And so what that created was a belief that, in new social situations with new people, like it's sort of, I didn't know, were they going to judge me? Were they going to accept me? Was it going to be okay? There was a lot of fear attached to new social situations, right? And so it gave me a sense of security and control when I was the organizer of the situations, when I was friends with each of the individuals. So I knew, this is only, this awareness has only come a lot more recently, but when I look back, I can see that that was me trying to control, right? When I was friends with all these individuals and then created these social situations with all of them together, I knew they all liked me, right? I knew I was accepted by them all. So I felt safe in that environment. But if I was invited, for example, to a weekend away with, say, 8 or 10 strangers, that would have put me in extreme anxiety because it wouldn't have felt safe, right? It wouldn't have felt safe. And so I tried to control the outcome. But ultimately what that was that it didn't feel safe to be me. It didn't feel safe to be me. Right? Because I didn't know. Was someone going to judge me? Were they going to reject me like they had when I was a child? Now, at the time, I didn't make that connection. It has only been through the work, the healing that I've done that I can see that and make that connection. But this is why we try and control. We try and control because there is some sort of not feeling okay. Not feeling okay is the best way I can sort of sum up all the different ways you could not feel okay. So there might be some trauma, right? There might be some trauma, limiting beliefs, something that happened when you were younger that didn't feel safe. And so your personal mind has created these limiting stories, limiting beliefs, and it's trying to control the situation because it's the only way that it knows to keep you safe or secure or happy. Whatever the thing is it's trying to achieve, it believes it needs to control the situation in order to do that, right? And so when we try and control, it's really just led by fear. It's led by fear of the unknown. It's not having enough awareness and connection to our true self. Right? When you connect to the truth of who you are, the inner awareness, the inner energy, the source within, when you connect to that part of you and you know that you are whole and complete right now and you're connected deep to something greater than you, pure consciousness, when you connect to that deeper part of you, you know that there's nothing that your personal mind needs to control because your personal mind is the limited egoic mind that we have as part of our toolkit here on Earth to navigate this planet. But it's not the truth, right? It's not the truth. And so our personal mind, like anything, it's conditioned, it's programmed. Like a computer, it's conditioned, it's programmed, and it has all these limiting stories and attachments. But your soul, your higher self, the divinity within you, it knows your highest timeline. It's always leading you there. And the only way to truly be able to live that is to be, and we've talked about this before, is to be able to step into the unknown, to trust the unknown, to allow yourself to be guided. And you cannot do that through control. You cannot do that through control, right? I've tried. Like I said, surrendering has been a massive thing for me. And you might have heard this saying, what you resist persists. Often it's your biggest challenge becomes your greatest learning, right? Your greatest learning. So for me, always trying to control and being able to let that go, that has been one of my life's greatest lessons, right? Realizing that when I let go, when I surrender, magic unfolds beyond what my mind could have ever imagined, right? Well, beyond what my mind could have ever imagined. And so the illusion that control gives you safety, it's like creating a little prison for yourself. It's like, I'm safe if there's these four walls around me because nothing can get to me, but it's an illusion, right? It's keeping you imprisoned. It's not letting you fully experience life, right? Life is unfolding for you moment by moment, in every moment. Life is unfolding for you. Things are coming to you for a reason. They are flowing to you in every moment for a reason. But when you resist them, when you push them away, when you reject them, when you try and control what they look like, you totally miss the magic, right? You totally miss the magic. Control is just your inability to trust in the truth of who you are, in something greater than your personal mind, than that egoic self that wants to cling to this illusion of safety. But when you connect to something deeper within, when you really connect to the source within you, you feel that security there, you feel that safety there. And you don't need anything outside of you to be a certain way to provide that. It is all found within. Anytime we are seeking something outside of us to give us a feeling state. So any safety, security, when you're looking for that in the external, it's because you're lacking it within, right? So when you connect to it within, then you are more easily able to let go of control because you already feel safe and secure and you know that you'll be okay. And so your mind can get on board with letting go because there's a deeper awareness that you'll be okay no matter what, right? You'll be okay no matter what. But it takes remembering this truth within you, remembering that truth of who you are, that inner awareness, and finding safety, security there first, right? Not needing to control everything for it to be a certain way. Maybe it's that you try and control others, you try and control others' behavior because the only way that you can be happy is if people behave a certain way, right? I've tried to do that too in the past. Perhaps it's that, like I said, you try and control, circumstances, how things will unfold because you have a particular preference and you want things done your way because you don't believe that you'll enjoy things if they unfold differently to that. I've definitely been there too. Like I said, I believe too, control freaks are always the organizers, right? I'm definitely an organizer. The ones, because they feel like if they do it themselves, if they know how things are going to go, then that will be the most optimal experience, right? I had this really wonderful experience a couple of years ago on my birthday, and we were away with my partner's family for the weekend. His sister was here from London with their children, and we had hired a house in the country. Now, on my birthday, I'm like, I want to go somewhere lovely by the harbour for lunch and have a nice long lunch. That's what is my preference, right? So that my personal mind, that's my preference to do something like that. But we were going away for the weekend, so I was surrendered to that. We're going away for the weekend. That's when it suited them, and they're here from overseas, so we booked it then. And on the day of my birthday, I knew it wasn't going to be all about me because there were all these other people there. So I completely surrendered to the day. I had no plans, no big agenda. I was like, life is going to unfold. I'm going to completely surrender to whatever happens. And I honestly had one of the best, most memorable birthdays of my life. And it was all the little things. I woke up early and, normally I'd stay in bed for a bit, but I thought, no, I'm just going to get up. And I went into the lounge and I worked on a little puzzle that I've been doing the day before. And then my little niece came out and she was maybe 3 at the time, and gave me a little hug, so cute. And then we went outside, the sun was still coming up, and we saw the kangaroos. Yes, I live in Australia, in the country. There are kangaroos. They don't hop down our streets, but they are in the country. And that was beautiful, watching the sunrise of the kangaroos. And it was just a lovely day. We went to a park. We found this incredible pub for lunch, and we just had the best meal. The Matildas won the semi-final in soccer in the World Cup that night, and we watched that, which was fantastic. It was just lots of little things, but it wasn't a birthday that my personal mind, my preferences would have planned. I allowed things to unfold, and there was lots of magic in the unfolding, in the experiences that flowed to me, right? And this is the magic of life, is that things are coming to you if you allow them to unfold. There is so much more magic. When we try and control things, we stay in very limited states because we keep repeating situations and circumstances that we've really lived before. But because we think we're okay with that feels safe, we keep doing that. But that's not where the magic is. The magic is in the unknown. It's in the letting go. It's in life leading you. So in order to let go of control, it is about connecting to the deeper place within you and finding safety and security there. It's about deeply knowing, like having a knowing. It's not just an affirmation. It's a deep knowing that life is unfolding for you, that you are connected to Source, you are part of Source, that you are deeply taken care of and guided, and that it's all unfolding for you for your best and highest good, right? That life is unfolding for your best and highest good. And the only way to know that is to live that, is to trust life, right? Is to trust life, to connect to this awareness within, right? This inner awareness, and to trust what's unfolding without judgment. When you release the judgment, right? When you release the wanted, unwanted, good, bad, when you release the preferences and accept that everything is happening for your best and highest good, I promise you'll be taken on such a different journey, but it will be more magical than you ever could have expected. That's where the magic is. Let go of that control. Love you all. See you next time.